Here we are, Father's Day weekend, and it's time to see what's new. Starting with a different perspective this time. So the temperatures are okay. However, we've had more rain than I can handle. This property's always had issues with drainage, but this rain is really making it a struggle. Not just because of the moisture, but also the pests that go with damp and cloudy conditions. I've been really busy despite the rain and the clouds and kind of crappy weather all June. Got some edging along under my deck. One houseplant made it out, my gorgeous Monstera. Still have some cleaning to do. See if the baby, oh look, you can see Mama. Little kids. They're getting too big for their nest. So like I said, busy. Started weeding. Here's a little pile I haven't cleaned up. I have all of these lovely forget-me-nots that are just going to seed. So I'm gonna let those fill in a little bit. Still not a lot of color. We just haven't had the sun to make things burst like they should. So perennials, that was my goal last year, to add more perennials. This is a phlox that I had transplanted. Then we have poppies that are really looking great up here. There's a poppy on the other side of the stairs over there that's under the Rose of Sharon that I might just move over here. It did great under the Rose of Sharon. It's just growing into the branches. I've added sun patiens and these cute little purple flowers. And I think that's really it for annuals. I'm letting the perennials do their thing. So not the most beautiful this has looked by far. Peas are growing in the pot. Still no pods just yet. And the espalier never had blossoms on it, so there will be no fruit. Did quite a bit of work over in this garden as well. Not loving this. That'll get work soon. Probably throw some clearance plants in containers. So I've flip-flopped what I want to do for edging over here. I decided simple is best, so that cattle panel, hog panel, whichever style this is, move to the front. Eventually I probably will be moving the sedum hedge to the front now that I've added more fill. Still drainage issues. I've never put anything in here to really help with that. But we got rid of the wood, decided against the cinder block wall for now. Did put in a little path because this is the most traveled area and it's fairly wet. All of these excess seedlings got a home. If they look good, great. If not, oh well. Clearance annuals. So all I feel like I've been doing for the past week or two is picking slugs. Morning and night I come out and have been picking slugs. They're eating everything. They've eaten seedlings. I've lost cosmos, celosia, marigolds, strawflower, larkspur, salpoglossus. This looks great, branched out like that. Oh yeah, dahlias. They've been eating those. Buplurum's hanging in there. But we can check out these peonies. Hydrangea's really behind. I think the cold spring didn't help it. I have a bud on Jowie Gypsy. In the back, I have planted these several times. It just says Asian garden. So these are celosia the slugs will not leave alone, as is that guy right there. been a bit of a nightmare. But then this past week, things are actually kind of really putting some height on. I have been cutting bachelors and the stalk. I did throw in some extra zinnia seeds because with the slugs, I have lost a few seedlings that I had started. You'll see gaps over here. So I just started throwing seedlings in, or I'm sorry, seed packets that I have extras of. And then these, I cannot remember what I threw over here. I believe they're the fragrant glads, but maybe not, because the ones that I put in the side of the house are much larger. Well, here we are, my life. Flipping slugs. So yeah, there's a lot of pest battling. I haven't had onion stalks look this beautiful before. And things are just putting on some size with the little bit of sun we have had. This tomato's much more further along than this one. This is finally starting to do something. So this will be a shaggy mess, I'm sure, once it warms up. I've put so much in here. But it'll be fun to see how it comes along. So this, I kind of have a vision. My dog statue at the front of the house, I'd like to ultimately put over here. The ranunculus, this one is not very strong. I have been picking ranunculus though, so not a lot to see. This hibiscus, every year I say I'm gonna move it. I really have to move it. It doesn't belong there. It's kind of like out all by itself. The fleece flower looks nice though. And with all this garbage weather, I will say the birding has been great. Orioles been around, cardinals, all the usual. The robin family, of course. Even a bluebird's popped in here and there, which usually they only come end of winter. So this does not look beautiful from afar, but it is putting size. I swear these zinnias have just gotten the size in the last week. They were kind of stagnant. Slugs also were eating a couple of those, hence the bare spot, and I threw some more seeds back here as well. Ageratum looks nice. So still small, but things are coming along. Some of these cosmos slugs had eaten the tops off when they were itty bitty. Oh yeah, that one's got slug juice on it, so somewhere a slug is devouring that plant. I don't know where he's hiding though, because I check it every day and I haven't seen anybody over here. It's kind of fun, my first time growing a lot of these. So it's interesting to see what spacing they really need versus how I planted them. Comfrey was beautiful and glorious. Bees were going to town. I didn't have the heart to cut the entire plant back, so it looks kind of goofy like that, but the flowers are still worth the pollinator's time, I think. Bee balm's very late. This status looks hilarious. So these goofy looking things too. Ooh, that's fun. So I'm curious to see how bushy do these plants get? How many cuts do I get off of them? The black bachelors, not my favorite, but still nice. Just doesn't give that pop from far away. This is my second Salpoglossus to bloom. A little bit damaged. It's taken some time, but the dark lilies finally are popping through. These, the pink ones, they're the pollenless doubles, are gorgeous. I've been picking off the red Asiatic lilies, lily beetles rather. So this is supposed to be Amoebium. Is this what the Amoebium plant actually looks like? This really thick, beefy stalk? I don't know. So that's kind of fun. I think this was my only single stalk that I had. So that one, I've got this one to pick and one more over there. These are my first snaps to do anything Potomac Sunrise. So those will make nice bouquets. I do need to get out here and weed. I've been so busy picking slugs that the weeding hasn't happened like I want it to. And I do have some mulch to put down in my paths, but I'm not going to put it down until the sun comes out because it's just going to give the slugs somewhere to hide. So more clearance plants popped in here. There were some very pathetic, damaged 6-packs. I love this dianthus. It's so bright. I cut some stems from that. I did take one of these hostas out. I'm pretty sure this guy with all the damage is guacamole, I believe. There's no tag on it. It must have been a remnant that we thought was dead, and I just threw the dirt over here. So this is Diamond Lake. So there was a smaller Diamond Lake next to it. You'll see where I moved that. It looks terrible where it is, but when it comes back next year, I think it'll be great. The bog is really happy, all the rain. And the butterbur looks gorgeous. It's the best it's looked. A little bit of bug damage, but usually the heat makes it look crispy. So what's changed over here? I've added the meadow rue. I don't think it's going to stay there forever, but I wanted to get it out of its pot. This Astilbe here and that one back there are both divisions from my parents' very established Astilbe plant. So those are 2 clumps I dug up just to fill in this area. While it is still wet, I will eventually add more fill over time. The hill was just a priority for me. And you can see there's a couple of hostas. So this was the hosta that was in the front garden that really didn't belong out there. It stuck out like a sore thumb. That's the Diamond Lake transplant from where I just was. And then this guy I divided from our gardens at work. It's very established there and overgrown. I need to identify it more solidly. I'm not sure what it is for now. I have some guesses, but I gotta do a little more research. Snake root, still struggling. Where I put this larger clump of Astilbe, it is gonna kind of hide the Brunnera. So I don't know that I love that placement. Not that the Brunnera is blooming anymore, but the silver foliage is nice to see. I did pop that autumn frost in there because it's time to spread out the hostas, not just have them on one side, I decided. Got rid of the metal urns. Much as I love that planter, I thought this dark heuchera looked nicer there. Kind of submerged the pot just a little bit. Of course, the slugs have been hiding in this creeping Jenny, as well as all of this. The mint got so aggressive. I've been pulling that. It's completely hiding the pot with the arborvitae. Cool as a cucumber. We know it's a fuss pot. I'm kind of over it enough to just get rid of it or move it. It always looks crappy. Yes, there is some slug damage despite me picking it, but some of these is just damage from like branches falling on it or anything. You just look at it and nothing bruises. It does get crispy if we get hot and dry. So it doesn't look good more than it looks good. So that might just get shifted over there where, hey, maybe the color will look good, but you don't get up close and stare at it. And then that would also give Wee a chance to stand out more despite this giant hellebore in front of it. Looking forward to colored Hulk beefing up a little bit, because I think it will be nice. It's just very puny. Like Captain Kirk is beefed up nicely. GM's almost blooming. And then these two, I feel like I have two light ones too close together. So if I can get Cool as a Cucumber out of there, I probably will move, whoops, this Loyalist over there with the Ajuga and the Mint. Because I do like Autumn Frost there, it's pretty hardy. And this one, Hudson Bay, I love the coloring of it. I know I need more solids to complement all of these variegated hosta, but that just catches my eye. And this has been a work in progress for a long time because it does get a little bit more sun here than anywhere else on the wall. And I keep putting annuals in here, taking them out. So I don't know if I want to commit to really putting a hosta in there. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit while I really think about it, because I have kept my word and kept minimal annuals in this bed. I have added one Superbena, the Alyssum I started from seed, and one Coleus over there, which I feel like I'm probably going to move. And these sunspots are going to be blooming soon, so that will be really nice to see. Echinacea's coming along. The slugs have gone crazy on the Echinacea and the daisies over here. Just, it's been a mess. Nothing but fighting with them. So this year, the hostas really look nice and mature. So mature, in fact, some of them are too close together. Like these three look okay, they're just brushing, so I really don't mind that. I do have some blooms on the Strontia. They're not pink, it's kind of disappointing, but they're dainty, so I'm enjoying those. More slug damage back here. That was just a offshoot of the wide brim. Yeah, go figure. Oh, honestly. And yes, I have been using slug bait. That's only so helpful when you have the masses of plants that I do, and it's just constantly rain, so the slug bait only lasts for so long. I've tried copper mesh. That was useless. Hand picking is really the most effective. And beer may be effective, but rain dilutes it. Finding the right containers to put it in, big hassle. So yeah, catmint. Love the purple. And the chartreuse. Don't know that it really should stay there, but it looks really kind of cool when you look at it together. And then blue ivory, my favorite, is getting swallowed up by Brother Stefan. And that one in the back, which I also do not know the identification on. I'm gonna do some work. They're getting kind of eaten up. So, might move this one here a little bit. June Spirit is also the biggest it has ever been. I'm loving that. Oh, I'm sorry, another annual. I did add purple fountain grass to continue that dark repetition. So we have the Heuchera, They have 2 dark astilbes, purple fountain grass, and that's just a weed box. Ah yes, the other daisy the bugs have been going to town with. So this little cutie is also the Hope Springs Eternal. It's a little bit too close now that it's becoming mature with Brother Stefan and the mouse ears. So when you look at it, I don't know. They're closer than I would prefer, because now the daisy, of course, looks foolish. Hellebore might be okay once that matures here in the front. I'm thrilled. I finally have a heuchera doing well. That's the purpley variegation and not just the peachy color. Happy the astilbe is going to bloom, because that does look great in arrangements. So over here I did finally put this hellebore in the ground. This is the wedding bells. I committed to that. This, I believe, is another offshoot to wide brim hosta. I seem to have a lot of these random divisions. I don't know if it was just it's a prolific reseeder or why I'm having so many of those. I have not worked on the drainage over here. Still plan to do that. I just want it to dry up and stop raining so I can work with dry soil and not mud. So either the drainage will go that way or this way. I will need some muscle to help me, I think. I haven't really cut these trees back. Another sad hosta division from the garden network. It already had slug damage when it came here, so it's just getting a little worse here. I'm loving the pansies. So the slugs, of course, have eaten those up quite a bit too, but when that's going happy in the sun, and that over there it's a treat to look at. Memorial garden. I haven't really added anything new. Minimal slug damage. The voles are definitely over here, not hurting the plants. I've been putting the systemic Repellex down. So they're not eating the actual plants that I have, just the weeds and such, and that's fine. Slugs, of course, are devouring the pansies I put over here, and they're just now starting to touch the Christmas tree hosta. So I'm fine with that for this season. I don't know if I'll put a lot more work into that at this point. We've just had so many house projects going on, clearly. Finally did get our driveway paved. Super exciting. Pallets are gone. Nursery is cleared up. This is where the septic cover is, so nothing ever grows here. I've been picking some slugs out of this fella. This pot I might actually put under my arbor where the sweet autumn clematis is, and I said I might put the dog statue. This might look nice there. Originally I was thinking the pot under that arbor I'm referencing, the urn that has the ranunculus in it, once they're done, I was going to take them out and just throw the sedum in, because you don't have to do anything. The sedum takes care of itself, and I thought it would look really nice spilling over the sides of the urn. So either that white pot or that sedum will go under that arch. I love this. I mean, no, it's not the most colorful, gorgeous thing, but my vines have done what they're supposed to do. So these are the cup and saucer vines, all the way to the top. I'm kind of training him now to come back down. My clematis is gorgeous, a little faded. It's had very little sun. And there's a couple of plants that are going to need a home, the wire vine and amazel basil. I also hope to come up with a plan to camouflage these tanks. I have it in my mind, I just have to get the right supplies. Very full over here. Things are happening, just not a lot of color just yet. Geranium is really lovely. Hibiscus is going to be great. That That one cup and saucer vine is making its way up. I've been starting to pull out some of the forget-me-nots that are just looking ragged. Rose Campion is probably the biggest I've seen it look in years. We do have some of the echinacea returning that I planted that were clearance plants last year. So this is the white one. We have, that's another white one down there. That was a different place that I got that little one from. And this is our red echinacea. Iris did bloom, and I think I got to appreciate it for a couple days before the stalk snapped over because the dog ran in there. Another purple fountain grass. Haven't decided yet what I'm going to put in this bed once the ranunculus get dug up. These are a lot of singles. I have had quite a few doubles that I've cut for arrangements. So ideally, I would have something tall here. Just not the greatest view. Originally, I'd tried a tree a few years ago in a pot. That was just more maintenance than I really wanted. So purple fountain grass would look awesome if this was a whole bed of that, or any type of grass. Salvias would probably look nice. I might do that for the hummingbirds. We'll see. I have to get my new hose mounted up soon. Hi, Fiona. What are you doing? So this poppy was humongous. Just beautiful. And actually, there's one that hasn't come forth. Poor guy, grown into the shrub. So this is my riot of color, if you will, with the bright orange, yellow, purple, red foliage, the celosia. I do also have a pink one back there. I did get the Rigucci clematis planted with the trellis. So a lot of annuals, but that's kind of what's needed at the front, in my opinion. Also some cosmos back there by the alliums. So it's been a disappointing season just with the lack of sun, but I have gotten a lot accomplished, so there's really no complaints. My yarrow back here looked great until we had downpours, and then it all collapsed, so I half-heartedly have staked it up because I don't want completely crooked stems everywhere. It's okay. But that's what we got for early June, Father's Day weekend.